People say that everything in life can teach you a lesson, but you just have to be willing to learn. Can you remember the last time you learned a life lesson from a best-seller board game? Let me introduce you to the game of diplomacy, conflict and conquest, Risk. Risk is a strategy game played on a board that outlines a map of the world based on countries, territories, and some real political divisions. All of them split into six colorful territories, or what we call continents. But why this thing about dividing, breaking up, and cleaving? We humans have been dividing, breaking up, and separating the world apparently since someone in the ancient Rome came up with the phrase divide et impera, something like divide and rule for those who are not fluent in Samo-Bulgarian or Bulgar Latin. Think about it. Technically, every human being on Earth is a citizen of at least one of the 193 countries recognized by the United Nations, or was from one of the 206 countries that performed in the last Olympic Games. We can also divide the world in terms of its population density. Sorry, Australia. Asia and Africa, the most populated. Countries that play soccer as the main sport. Countries not using the metric system and those that clap at the end of movies. Vegemite consumer countries. That's me, by the way. Most foreign welcoming countries. Countries using Internet Explorer as a main browser. Countries with the most language and dialect diversity. Countries that will be, by 2050, the world dominant suppliers of manufactured goods and services. Division is also a synonym for conflict, isolation, disagreement, and difference. So let's picture this with two different groups. Have you ever heard of the North-South conflict? Or what about the countries with the best and worst educational systems? Countries with no access to clean water, lack of proper sanitation, and with high child death rates. Even countries that will invest more in exploring Mars in search of water rather than providing safe water to countries with scarcity. This board represents most of the countries of the world, but what are the chances that developing countries with education lag, political and social instability, war, migration, high corruption indexes, among other things, can face solving, implement an effective water treatment? One can easily understand that the main issue for wastewater in the next days will be the distribution of infrastructure, taking poor and developing countries out of the game.